Hey, we're going to be checking out ticker symbol PDYPF. So this is Flutter Entertainment. We have them on the screen right now. We're going to go into some news that we've seen, and then we'll break down the technical analysis at the end. Before we go any further, I just wanted to say if you have any questions or um, just points you want to make about Flutter, if you think I got something wrong or you just want to add in your opinion on this one, by all means, let me know in the comments. I'd be happy to read that. But with that said, so Flutter, currently they're at 182. We picked this one because they're in primarily, they own a couple segments in their business. The one that I was after the most was FanDuel. I want to get a piece of two of what I think are the biggest gambling type platforms, and FanDuel being the second one. DraftKings is also on our list, but FanDuel is owned by Flutter. That's how they got in the mix. Otherwise, this one is a over-the-counter company. So depending on the brokerage account that you use, it may or may not be available. I know that Webull allows this on their app. So if you don't have Webull and you'd like to create an account, I do have a link below. If you're new and you sign up, and after you make your first deposit, um, you get rewarded about 12 partial shares of stocks. So that's a benefit if you don't have an account. And then of course you could use that account to buy a share, a couple shares of this stock. So with that out of the way, again, the last time we touched on this was about 2 weeks ago. It was March 31st. At that time, it was 181. Now it's at 182, so not much has changed. We will look into that further in the technicals. I had a buy point marked out at 166 and a resistance point of 214. So it's kind of in the middle there, but we'll dive into that a little bit further. One other point before I move on is this 182, I think it's currently lagging because this company is in Europe. I believe London is where it's mainly being like traded at, and that's why it's over the counter. And so I think this one's closer to like 190, but for whatever reason, it's just delayed on Yahoo, probably because of that time zone thing, and it's not actively traded on the. Uh, it's on the New York Stock Exchange, but again, it's over the counter. But anyway, so for the news, what we have is they've finally released their full year 2022 results. You can see revenue is at about 7.7 billion euros, which is up 28%. That's the thing we're looking at, those percentages. Net loss, they're still losing money. I think that's why we're not seeing this one um, become as large as we think it should be, at least in terms of market cap. This currently it trades at a high value, but again, that market cap being 32 billion. I think if we can even pull up DraftKings in a minute, but I think that's most of the reason why it's um, trading the way it is because it's still at a loss right now. Once that changes, and I think DraftKings even trades at a loss, but just due to the market share, that's kind of why these companies trade so uh, low compared to other companies. And then the last thing is like per share, it's about $1.07 in euros per share. Anything else here? Oh yeah, so this was interesting. So they're forecasting the revenue for this company to be at about a 12% growth rate year over year. But their industry, the hospitality industry, is only projected about 9%. So if you were a index investor, which we're trying to get into that with like the ETFs, um, the ETF, we don't follow a hospitality ETF, but we do follow a consumer discretionary. I believe those are kind of interchangeable here. And we haven't looked at what we believe to be a potential for the consumer discretionary fund. However, I do recall reading someone somewhere along the lines that that's supposed to be one of the higher growth ones going into this year and next. Um, Currently, I haven't seen anything to really believe that, but I'm sure this person probably has done more research than me, so uh, something I will look into over time. This next article, I thought this was interesting. It basically shows that not that many people own this in terms of getting the majority stake. So right off the bat, the headline says institutional investors control 44% of Flutter, and of course they were rewarded because it's kind of been trending up. But it goes on to say a total of 18 investors own the majority of the company. So obviously there's pros and cons to that. I think obviously the biggest con of that is if one of those bigger investors, and if we scroll down, we can see where is it? So right here. So the data shows that Capital Research and Management Company is the largest shareholder with 15% of the shares. We have, they don't name it, but the second largest shareholder owns about 10%, and then third owns 6%. So if one of those companies, even if it was that 6% person, if for whatever reason they just said, we don't want anything to do with this, that the share price on this stock would just plummet. I mean, to just all of a sudden have so much supply out there, uh, yeah, the stock price would plummet on this. So that's obviously the con in this situation. The pro is if you have a solid group of people, like if these 18 people or investors, if they have high confidence in this, they want to see this one grow over time, then this should work out very well. So it all just depends on the outlook you want to see. If you're more conservative, if you're not sure, because again, we don't know who these 18 people are, and in all fairness, they're not necessarily people. Um, Most of them are institutions. You can see right here, the groups that hold the biggest piece of the pie are institution that's 44%. So I'm pretty sure the breakdown is there's 18 people, including those institutions, that own more than 50%. It doesn't tell us exactly how much, but more than 50%. They also tell us that the general public, so someone like us, we own 43%, and I'm not sure the whatever percentage is left. They said a small chunk is insider, so like their board of directors, they own under 1%. So it's not really them. It's probably just shares that are available, or I don't know. Depending on the day, it might be some with investors like us, others it might be with institutions. But um, I like this because it gave a little bit more depth behind this stock because it's very new to me. And so, yeah, just seeing where the breakout is for these, uh, it's interesting to have that insight. We will kind of just monitor that. Again, the biggest worry is if one of these bigger shareholders just drops, that stock price could fall very rapidly. And the reason I'm going to bring that piece up is when we look at this, it's been in a long-term uptrend for a while. For this one, and also here, this is why I mentioned that 190. At least on Webull, it's at 190. I'm going to trust Webull in this case because Yahoo, again, they had them at 182. So I think that's behind. And while we're here, DraftKings, their market cap's only 8 billion. Wow. Um, Again, Flutter has all those pieces, but for some reason I thought DraftKings had the higher market cap. So another reason I think DraftKings is a nice one. Their market cap is way lower, and they have a bigger market share. But getting back to the technicals here, they've been in an uptrend since pretty much July of 22. They've been on that uptrend. Right now, I'm still not interested in buying, only because while I do love the uptrend, it's the fact that it's going above and beyond our range, our what we would say the fair value range in this case. Um, and like I was actually thinking about this the other day, like the funny thing is it's at 190 right now, and I might not buy it. But if for a couple weeks it like trades sideways, and then all of a sudden it's over here, still at 190, but it's at the lower part of the upward trend line, I would probably buy it. Like, I don't know. It's just how things look at the right time. Um, but yeah, so right now I just think it's overvalued. Um, again, there wasn't much news to tell me why it would really be popping off like that. I mean, we saw the year-end results. There seemed to be a lot of improvement. Um, but it's been growing like this like crazy. I'd really have to look into it further, look at their quarterly results. Maybe that kind of sheds some light. I'm not sure if it will give us that much in depth for this. We will try. It looks like revenue, if we go to quarterly, it doesn't want to show us. Yeah, it doesn't want to show us the quarterly, but the annually, they didn't really grow all that much in 2022. I don't know if they did better on the net income side, if that's why they trimmed their operating expense. No, that's not the answer. Um, yeah, I'm not sure why it would really pop off the way it is. Um, and that's exactly why I'm not interested in buying right now. Um, again, like I said, if if it was like over here, a couple months down the road, and it's still in that uptrend, but it's at 190, but closer to this side of our uptrend, I might buy it. The reason why I'm holding out now is because you know over the next couple weeks it might start to drop, and maybe we can catch this one at 178. There's plenty of time. Um, I'm not too concerned. I feel like there's better options right now. If we scale back a little bit, this one still has a lot of room to grow, a lot of potential growth. At some point, we'll try to map out where I think this one might fall at year end. And again, that'll just be a guess, more or less, but just kind of how I'm seeing it. And I'll try to pick a conservative number there. But with that said, let me just kind of update my tracker here. So currently it's at 190. If I wanted to buy this one, say next week, I would be looking for 171 at the most. I'd be looking for like 171. I'll even say 175 just to be, give myself a little bit of a buffer. So let me just update that. Resistance is 214. We just crossed into the upper fair value range. So now we're between upper fair value, we're above fair value, and now we're closing it in on a resistance point. Another reason why I'm at least not at this moment am I interested in it. Then of course the date, we'll change that. Strong uptrend for past 9 months. We had July, so 6, 9, yeah, so about 9 months. So again, for my chart, I'm not going to really change anything. Everything still seems to be lining up correctly. And then over here, the quick update is just pretty much what we said. Currently it's at 190. For me, buy points are marked out at 166 and 175. Resistance point at 214. The date, of course, and then our note is it's been in a strong uptrend for the past 9 months. So we'll continue to watch this, see if we can find a more opportune buy point. And again, if you have a different opinion, let me know in the comments. Let me know if I'm missing something. I'd be happy to read that. Otherwise, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.